So, hello everyone. This is me, Nivanchi, your online class teacher. So, yes, I'll be starting my sessions with classes 11th and 12th. And in these following videos, I'll not be like switching on my, I will not be switching on my camera for few classes. Then later on, I will work on it and share my video as well. So, let us start with this chapter that is called as excretory, that is excretory products and their elimination. This is a chapter that is given in NCRT for CBSE class 11th. So this is what I'm going to do. We will start with this chapter, excretory products and their elimination. Uh, So let us start with the first thing that we have to understand here is what is excretion. All right. So if you're talking about the chapter excretory products and their eliminations, so the first thing that we have to understand that what is excretion and why do we need excretion in the first place. So what is excretion? Excretion, it basically means elimination. How we can say it basically means elimination, right? It is the elimination of metabolic waste. Now I have written it is elimination of metabolic waste. Metabolic waste means all the reactions that are taking place within our cells. Reactions that are taking place within our cells. Okay, so our cells, whatever waste they are producing, we call that waste as the metabolic waste. So whatever reactions that are going on within our body, inside our body, in our tissues, in our cells, they are producing some kind of metabolic waste. They are producing some kind of waste, and we call that as metabolic waste because this is a waste generated by the various reactions that are taking place inside the cell. So when these reactions are taking place inside our body, inside our cells, they are generating some waste, and then the waste that is generated could be in the form of waste that is generated. It could be in different forms, such as it could be ammonia. All right, the waste could be ammonia. It could be urea. It could be uric acid. Okay. So as far as now we have just studied that excretion, it is the elimination of metabolic waste that are uh, metabolic waste like ammonia, urea, and uric acid. And these are generated within the tissues, within the cells of our body due to the various reactions that are taking place within the body. So we call it as the excretion. So if simply we have to define excretion, it is the removal of waste from our body. And what kind of waste is being removed from the body? That is the metabolic waste is being removed from our body. And the metabolic waste could be in the form of ammonia, it could be in the form of urea, and it could be in the form of uric acid. All right. So now moving on to types of excretion. The next thing we have to understand here is the type of excretions. Type of excretion. So what are the different types of excretion here? That is what we have to understand here. So we have basically three types. First one is AMMONOTELISM. Second one would be UREOTELISM. And third one would be URICOTELISM. So we have three types of excretion: ammonotelism, ureotelism, and uricotelism. In ammonotelism, what kind of waste is excreted? Ammonia is excreted. All right. In ammonotelism, ammonia is excreted out. Ammonia is excreted. In ureotelism, urea is excreted. In uricotelism, uric acid is excreted. So firstly, we'll take the ammonotelism. Okay. Firstly, we'll understand about the ammonotelism. So let us start with this one, that is the ammonotelism. So what does ammonotelism tell us is, it is simply, if we have to define it, then simply we can say it is the process of excretion. What is excretion of, what is eliminated here? What is being excreted here in ammonotelism? It is excretion of ammonia, that is simply NH3. All right. So what kind of animals they excrete ammonia? Then we have to understand this. So the animals that excrete ammonia, they are simply called as the ammonotelic animals. Simply what we will call them? We will call them as ammonotelic animals. So what are these ammonotelic animals? We have to understand examples of ammonotelic animals also. So in this, it will have aquatic invertebrates. It will have some aquatic insects. Now later on, after I give you these examples, we'll also discuss like why are we saying, mostly I'm writing here that these are aquatic invertebrates, aquatic insects. So why are we just considering mostly those animals which are aquatic in nature? That is what we are going to discuss. So firstly, we'll discuss the points. First is the bony fishes. They also come in under this. Then we have aquatic amphibians. So these all are the monotelic animals. So as we know, the ammonia that I'm talking about here, this ammonia, it is highly toxic. It is very much toxic in nature. So it is toxic in nature. That is why it requires large amount of water for its excretion. It requires large amount of water. All right, it requires large amount of water for excretion. That is why most of the ammoniotelic animals, they are found in water, because ammonia, it is highly toxic, and to remove this ammonia from our body, what do we require? We require large amount of water. All right. And what is the examples? We have aquatic invertebrates, we have aquatic insects, we have bony fishes, and we have aquatic amphibians as well. So one more thing about this ammonia, it is readily soluble in water. All right, it is readily soluble in water. So whenever it is released, this ammonia, it is released by these aquatic animals, it readily solubilizes in water, and next thing we have to understand is how is it excreted. It is excreted by diffusion process. It is excreted by the process of diffusion. How it is excreted? It is excreted by the process of diffusion through their body. Diffusion through body surface or gill surface. Diffusion through body surface or gill surface. All right. Then, and I said that it is readily soluble in water. It is excreted out through the body surface. Then the next point is how is it excreted, like in what form it is excreted. So it is also very important. It is excreted in the form of ammonium ions. This is very important. Not many of us know this, but it is excreted in the form of ammonium ions, and this is important. Okay, and this is important. It is excreted in the form of ammonium ions. So next point that is very important in this, and I don't think that many students know this, is that kidneys, all right, kidneys, they do not play any role. Kidneys, they do not play any role in its removal. Okay, kidneys, they do not play any role in its removal. Like this ammonia is excreted just to the general body surface, and kidneys, they do not have a major part to play. Otherwise, we know that in the process of excretion, the kidneys, they play the major role. But the animals, those who are ammoniotelic, there, here what is happening? Kidneys, they are not playing the main role. So let us revise what we have done so far. So here we are discussing the chapter that is excretory products and their elimination. We are discussing this chapter that is in the syllabus of class 11th NCRT. So first thing, we have to understand that what is excretion. So excretion basically is the elimination of harmful waste from the body. So what is the nature of this harmful waste? This harmful waste, it is metabolic waste. Metabolic waste means all the reactions that are taking place within the cell, they are producing some kind of waste, and we are calling that waste as the metabolic waste. And what type of metabolic waste is being eliminated? That is, it is ammonia, it is urea, and it is uric acid in nature. Then moving on to the type of excretion that we have, we mainly have three types of excretion here. We have ammonotelism, we have ureotelism, and we have URICOTELISM. In ammonotelism, ammonia is excreted as the main excretory product. In ureotelism, urea is excreted, and URICOTELISM, uric acid is excreted. Then moving on to the ammonotelism, ammonotelism, as we know, is excretion of ammonia from the body. It is excretion of ammonia from the body, and those animals, those who eliminate this ammonia from the body, we call them as ammoniotelic animals. So there are certain examples. We have to understand the examples. That what are the examples of these ammoniotelic animals? They could be aquatic invertebrates, they could be aquatic insects, they are bony fishes, and they are aquatic amphibians as well. So when we talk about the ammonia, it is very toxic in nature. All right, so it is toxic in nature, so it requires a large amount of water for removal. It requires large amount of water for removal from the body. So as it is eliminated from the body to the general body surface, it is readily solubilizes in water, and that is how it becomes less toxic. All right, so next thing we have to understand is that how it is eliminated. It is eliminated in the form of ions. This is very important. I don't think many of the students, they understand this, that how this ammonium is eliminated from the body. It is eliminated in the form of ammonium ions. And next very important thing that also the children, they, I think, don't have the information about is that kidneys, they do not play any role in its removal. Okay, kidneys, they do not play any role in its removal. So that is what we learned in ammonotelism. All right, so moving on to, now we will move on to next type of excretion, that is ureotelism. So wait just a sec. Okay, we are done with ammonotelism. Now we will start with another one, and that is, we will start with another one, that is ureotelism. So this is ureotelism. As the name suggests, what is being excreted here? What is being excreted here? Urea is being excreted here. All right, what is being excreted here? Urea is being excreted here. That is what we have to understand here. So firstly, we will understand that what are those animals? What are those animals that secrete this urea as the waste product? So firstly, we will understand this. What are these animals, those who secrete urea as the waste product? So let's see who are they. First would be the cartilaginous fishes. Okay, there are cartilaginous fishes. Then will come some terrestrial and semi-aquatic amphibians. All right, then will come aquatic and semi-aquatic, aquatic and semi-aquatic reptiles, mammals, etc. So these all are the examples of ureotelic animals. So the next thing is how it is eliminated from the body. So what is happening actually in ureotelic animals? That in liver. So this mechanism, it is very important to understand what is happening in liver. What is happening in ureotelic animals? In liver, the ammonia, all right, in liver the ammonia is being converted into urea. Now this ammonia, it is more toxic in nature. This is less toxic in nature. So in ureotelic animals, what is happening? In liver, the ammonia is being converted to urea. All right. So it why is it being converted into urea? Now this is what we have to understand, that why it is being converted to urea. Because here it needs only moderate amount of water. It needs only moderate amount of water to be eliminated. In ammonotalism, what did we study that it requires large amount of water to be eliminated. But in case of ureotelic animals, it needs only moderate amount of water to be eliminated. So this is what is important. Needs only moderate amount of water. So this is the main part that we have to understand here. So what is happening in some animals? What happens that some amount of urea may be retained in the kidney matrix, so to maintain the desired osmolality. Okay. So what is happening in some animals? This is very important point. In some animals, so as we proceed to this chapter in the later, like in the later section, we will study this point in detail. When we study the kidneys and the urine formation in detail, there we will understand it a much better way, because there we go through the mechanism of excretion in detail. So there we understand it much better this point. So what happens here is that in some animals, some urea, okay, some urea is retained. All right, it is retained within the kidneys of these animals. And why is it happening? So that we can maintain the desired osmolality. Desired osmolality means we can maintain the difference in concentration. All right, difference in concentration, so that the difference in concentration of urea in the kidneys, so that the urea can be eliminated easily from the body. Okay. So when we will move to the urine formation, there we will see that while urea is being eliminated from the body, some amount of urea is being held within the kidneys. It is being held within the medullary region of the kidneys. So it happens so that we can maintain that difference, or we can maintain that osmolality. We can maintain that difference in concentration, so that urea can be eliminated easily. I know this could be a little tricky to understand at this point, but when we will move on to the process of urine formation, there we will understand this point much better. All right. So moving on to the third one, that is the URICOTELISM. Moving on to the third one, that is the URICOTELISM. All right. Third one, that is URICOTELISM. Yes, as we now know, it is basically what is happening. Removal of uric acid. All right. Removal of uric acid. Now, next point, as you already know, what are those uricotelic animals that we have to know about? Because in exams it is asked that what are the examples for the same. What are those uricotelic animals? So these could be insects. All right. These could be some insects. These could be some insects. All right. These could be some land crustaceans. Some land crustaceans. This could be land snails, terrestrial reptiles, and birds. So these are the uricotelic animals that excrete urea as their waste product. So in the process of excretion of uric acid, uric acid is excreted, and another point is, it is very important point is, it is insoluble in water. All right, it is insoluble in water. So this is what we have to understand, and this is the important point here. Whatever is important, you mark it with red, right? So as uric acid, it is insoluble in water. Earlier we studied that ammonia is readily soluble in water, urea is also soluble in water. It requires moderate amount of water for elimination. But in case of uric acid, it is insoluble in water. So what will happen here? Anyone? So water will not be required here. Water will not be required here. So water will not be required here. All right. So this is what we've understood so far. So let us make a comparison table for now and see whatever we have learned so far. So let us make a comparison table for whatever we have learned so far. So this is our comparison table. All right. Firstly, we studied about ammonotelic animals. Then we studied about ureotelic animals, and lastly we studied about uricotelic. All right. So the first thing that is so the first thing, let us see what did we discuss so far here. So the first thing we discuss is that here ammonia is released here, urea is released here, uric acid is released, right? It requires large amount of water for elimination. It requires some medium or less amount of water. And the last one is it requires no water for elimination. All right. Then the next thing would be what else we studied here. Here we can write medium or moderate. Here we can write moderate amount of water is required. And last point, and it is very important, is it is most toxic, lesser toxic, and it is least toxic. So yes, this was my first topic that we covered here in excretory products and their elimination in CRT CBSE for class 11. So in coming lectures, we'll be discussing more as we move on. And so this was just the introduction to this chapter that what we are going to study so far, what we studied so far, and we are going to study. It was just the introduction. And in coming lectures, we'll be discussing more about it and we'll be learning more. So stay updated with me. I'll be coming up with the good presentations also. It's just a start, and we can learn more. And I hope this video will be benefiting for the students, who those who are watching. So yes, thanks, and do share and subscribe. Thank you.